I'm here with Father Michael Pfleger. As you know, he's a legend in my mind as well as in the minds of a lot of people. Legendary because you're so deeply committed to doing the right thing. And I've seen you pay a tremendous price for doing the right thing sometimes, but you've been focused and relentless in doing that. And one of the things that you've been doing lately that I really admire is you have reached out to the local gangs and dealt with the violence problem in a way that almost nobody else has, and you've had a degree of success that almost no one else has. Can you tell us about what you're doing with the basketball tournament and dealing with the violence issue?
Well, one of the things I think that we realized, Doctor, first of all, there's so much respect and admiration I have for you and for your consistency and being a prophetic voice. So I thank you for your voice and thank you for your consistency, because that's what's so key to me. But I think, one of the things that we've seen is in the violence thing that has grown all around the country in urban cities. And first of all, let's look at some of the roots. When you have poor education, no jobs, infrastructure's gone, family element is broken, you have to create the perfect storm for violence in our country. And then we wonder why. Well, let's get to the root causes that help it grow and that encourage it all the time. But I think now there's been this great thing of the police to come in. And police come in at an after effect. And the police coming in and trying to arrest our way out of this violence in any city in this country, all that does is add to the mass incarceration that we already have. That's what we don't need. So our thing is that let's get to the young people before we get to the arrest and the incarceration. And so we try through the hook of basketball or sports to reach out to our young brothers on the streets, to reach out to the different, what we call organizations in the streets, talk with them and engage them in a relationship and build a relationship, and then bring them together in the name of a ball game and getting some NBA stars to join with this, but then saying that we don't want you to just play ball. We want this to be the hook to say, how can we help you? How can we show you that we're not just here to say we want to stop the violence, but here, more importantly, to say we want to help you. We want you to reach your dreams. We want to brush the dust off your dreams and see what it is that you were called to be and want to be, and how we can help in that. So getting them back in school, getting them jobs, being here as someone they can go to turn to, whether it's food, whether it's clothing, whether it's job, whether it's education, and let them know that we genuinely care. No strings attached. We're not wanting anything from you. We want peace in the community. But we realize, and I've become very aware to me, we'll have peace in the community when the young brothers in the streets have options in life beyond violence and beyond just survival tactics in the community. So we've reached out to them. We've had some great success this summer. In 10 weeks, where there were shootings every day, there's been one shooting. We're now going into a peace league that's starting up next week. And got some 28 young men jobs, 62 back in school, and we're just seeing this thing start to snowball. People saying, you really care, and you're giving me something else besides tell me what not to do. And I think that's the way we can deal with mass incarceration. I think that's the way we can deal with the violence. But more importantly, I think we got to then create the organization that then stands together and says to the powers that be, give us good schools. Give us jobs. Give infrastructure in our neighborhood. That now you create what's needed in the community to stay the course of success rather than end up in the violence. So if you're upset about violence, tell me what we're going to do to help these brothers.
Well, I love it. And I want to say that what impresses me the most about what you're doing with this project to reduce the violence is that a lot of people told you not to do it, right? I mean, it's one thing to say, well, we shouldn't have violence or stop, stop the violence by putting more police on the street. But when people knew you were going to actually go out there and connect with these kids and use love as opposed to suppression, a lot of people said, don't do this. So,
Yeah.
so how did you deal with
Well,
it?
I mean, yeah, everybody jumped on and said, "Don't do this. It's not gonna work. Somebody's gonna get hurt. Somebody's gonna get shot. Your reputation's on the line. You're gonna destroy Saint Sabina's reputation. Destroy your." Everybody said no, and mine going forward that came out of my faith. I really believe that number one that I believe God gave me this vision to do this and make this happen. Number one, but number two is we got to start thinking out of the box. What we're doing ain't working. It's not working. We're seeing it continue to happen. The violence rate in Chicago is way past what it was the entire year of last year. We're still here in November. We've got to try other measures. We've got to try out of the box things to try and push the envelope. But most of all, we've got to try, I believe, loving and engaging these young brothers and saying, how can we help you? And if they say, hey, this would be great, yeah, we'll join in this. I think, one of the things that nobody talks about is that they're talking about what I had to risk or what St. Sabina had to risk in doing this. What everyone seems to always talk about in the city is what the young brothers had to risk. That rep on the street, of being called soft, of being called standing down, and all that they had to go through to risk. Because I found out they want peace, and they want a future, and they want their dreams. They just felt to believe nobody cares about them. So you do what you have to do, and your life becomes the life of survival. And my thing is that, I find that a form of abortion.
Wow.
We always link abortion to something that goes on in a womb, in a clinic. If we believe that every single human being has a God-given destiny and purpose, then anything that cuts short that person from reaching that destiny, that divine purpose, that's a form of abortion. We just narrow abortion. So bad education is abortion, no jobs are abortion, racism is abortion, poverty is abortion. So when we start to look at it that way, let's stop aborting these kids out here. Abortion doesn't end at conception. Abortion ends when they die. Anything we do to keep them from reaching that forms of abortion. So let's stop aborting our kids out here by putting them in prison or hanging on the corner on the street. Let's help them reach their dreams. Let's love them. Let's care about them. Let's help them. And I think we can turn the violence thing around. I think we can, turn America. I think there's some more talent at some of these corners in the block than there is in, Congress in D.C.
Absolutely.
It's just untapped. And I think really a lot of those in power structures are afraid of these kids.
Well, I always say that an educated and conscientious black man is a very dangerous thing. Yeah. That's why they're as quick to incarcerate you or to stop you if you are doing the right thing as if you're doing the wrong thing in some cases, because I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but there was actually a scenario where I wanted to visit a brother in prison in Illinois, and the guards or whoever, his counselor, Googled me and saw that I'd written some books about the black male experience and said, he can't come see you. Because their fear is that I might ignite something in this guy that makes him question what's going on in the cage in which he lives. So, I think that what you're doing is remarkable. I think that we are in the middle of a war where this is a battle. This is something that, and none of us can be observers and cheerleaders. We have to all be soldiers in this battle.
Right. Yeah. Nobody can sit on the sidelines, and nobody could just look back, and nobody has a right to disqualify themselves from being a soldier in this. Your legitimacy now is, I think, in this times in which we live, is you being willing to go out there and fight. If you're not willing to fight, I don't care how charismatic you be, I don't care how much great conversationalist you are, your legitimacy is gone.
Well, I love it. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. Thanks for all you do, man.
Thank you, brother. And everybody, this is Father Michael Pfleger. You probably know about his great work, but if you don't, I challenge you to go Google him. And I don't challenge you to try to emulate or to be as great as him. I challenge you to go beyond that. The job of young people out here is to continue the work and to elevate the work. And remember, there's a Dr. King inside all of us. So find that greatness inside of you. It's not about what we're doing. It's about what you're doing. So go out and do something. Take care.